It is Saturday, March 3rd in the NBA, and my three favorite picks are on the way. What's going on, everyone? It's Logan from Calling Our Shot. Once again, Austin, not really able to record this portion of the video, but that's okay. I am a great, even better stand-in. Not just kidding. But let's talk about yesterday. Unfortunately, we did not get the 2-0 mini sweep I wanted. Just 1-1, minus just a little bit of juice in that one. Let's talk about it. We had the over in that Heat Jazz game. That was actually one of my probably more proud bets I've ever made because it was just one of those no sweat kind of both teams scored and made it soar over. And then we had the Lakers money line, which was so frustrating because if you watch that game, you felt like the Lakers had that game. You felt like they had control. I certainly did. They had a double-digit lead, and they just couldn't figure out how to close. And Michael Porter Jr. took exactly what I said personally. He watched the video right before when I called him an inconsistent scorer and he wouldn't do what he did. No, he didn't miss. So that was tough. But you know what we're going to do? We have 3 picks today. No possibility of having just an even day. And let's dive right into our picks. Austin does have a player prop of the day. I told him, I need a pick from you today because I don't want to pick 3 spreads. But I have 2 spreads / totals in mind, and then he's got his player prop. So let's just dive right in. We're going to an early start time, so get this bet in. We're going to the Sixers versus Mavs game, and I'm taking the Sixers plus 8.5, minus 115 odds on BetMGM, currently your best value there. Now, also, this line is playable at 8 or 7.5. So if your book has 8, just know that I'm getting the extra half hook. If they do end on 8, you would push in this one. But the first matchup between these teams, actually, I do want to mention, this game does start at 1:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So get your bets in because there's a good chance if you're watching this video later, this game's already going on. And hopefully we are 1-0 on the day. But the first matchup between these two teams, Dallas won 118-102 in Philadelphia. I see a different outcome coming today. I think a closer game is definitely in the cards. Interesting to note, Philly in that game only got plus 2.5. Now they're on the road. I think there's actually a bit of value betting them because in that game, Philly shot terribly from 3, just 27.6%. That's obviously not going to get the job done. If you're just chucking up bricks like that, that's a recipe to get blown out. And that's exactly what happened in that game. The Sixers with Nick Nurse as their head coach held Luka from dropping 30 on them, which I do like to see. He only had 19 on 6 for 15 shooting. The other guys did step up around Luka, though. If you can prevent a Luka 45 piece, I think we stand a pretty good chance at covering today. And you look at this Mavs team, they're actually poor against the spread at home this season. They're just 14-17 ATS at home, so you'd lose money if you were betting them at every home game. They're 18-11 against the spread on the road. On the road is actually where you want to bet them. Here they are at home, not the best against the spread team. And the Sixers offense with Embiid isn't the best, but this Mavs defense is less than solid. They're 23rd in opponents' points per game allowed. Dallas also 27th in opponents' fast break points allowed per game. How do you keep a bad, undermanned offense in the game? Fast break points and rebounds. Dallas 29th in opponents' total rebounds per game allowed. So do you look at that? Can Philadelphia get out and run the fast break, get some points that way? Yes, Philadelphia 5th in fast break points per game. The fast break led by Tyrese Maxey should be able to generate some solid offense for us today. I just don't really trust this Mavs defense to be able to run and hide. There's a reason why they're so bad defensively. And if you're trying to cover an 8.5 point spread, you need it on both ends. You need the offense. You need the defense. Early start time in this one at 8.5 points. The backdoor cover is actually open as well. Say they're down 10, hit a 2 or 3. There you go. That's the cover right there. I trust the Sixers to be able to play pretty competitive in this one. So pride on the line. They don't just go into Dallas and get blown out in this one. I do like them at the plus 8.5 we're getting. I think that's a really solid bet to make. And as I mentioned, get that bet in early if you want to tail, or if you want to take Mavs and just fade me, go ahead. It doesn't really matter to me. But let's go to Austin's player prop of the day. Emmanuel Quickly of the Raptors, over 27.5 points plus assists. Minus 120 odds on DraftKings, your current best value there. Now, it is also playable to 28.5. I know some books are very quick to bump it, like FanDuel. So Austin is giving you the AOK at 28.5. And I also really do like this pick. I really do like Emmanuel Quickly. And if you're looking at odds, I think there's a chance he gets 10 plus assists tonight, which is plus 550 if you're feeling wild and crazy. I think Emmanuel quickly is the ultimate distributor today. As probably you've heard by now, Scotty Barnes fractured his hand last game. He's scheduled to miss 4 to 6 weeks the rest of the season. With his injury comes a lot of opportunity. This Raptors they started the second half of the last game. Barnes was injured right before halftime with Quickly, Trent, Barrett, Olynyk, and Jakob Poeltl. You look at that lineup. The Raptors played Quickly 20 of the 24 minutes in the second half. He's big-time minutes. Quickly had 6 points, 2 for 9 shooting, and 5 assists in that time span. He's going to have the ball in his hands nearly every possession, as the other 4 in the starting lineup. And while we considered, Austin, he kind of mentioned just taking Quickly over an assist, we'd rather go with points plus assists because we know how talented Emmanuel Quickly is as a scorer. He's a microwave sometimes. Sometimes he is in can't miss mode, and we would love to see that today. And despite the Hornets defense being better since the All-Star break, we're not really concerned about them locking up Emmanuel Quickly. He's too special. He's too talented. He can get it from pretty much anywhere on the floor. He should be able to get around 15 to 18 field goal attempts plus the other 12 to 15 potential assists. That should be able to hopefully get him up and over this line that we need. Again, we're taking points plus assists. You could take assists as well. But again, he's with a scorer as talented as Emmanuel Quickly has. I think that's a really good bet to make. So that's Austin's player prop of the day, co-signed by me, delivered by me, and hopefully that is a winner. But let's go to our third and final pick. It's going to be a total. Yesterday we had a no sweat total. Hopefully we can continue that today. Pistons versus Magic, under 218.5 points, minus 110 odds on FanDuel, your best value there. Now, yesterday we took an over. It was easy because I got to tweet out the over when it cashed. This time we have to wait till zero's on the clock to truly know if it is a winner or a loser. But I do like the under in this spot. I would also consider playing it at 217.5 if it does tick down just a little bit. But the under trends are so strong between these two teams. I'll tell you them right now. The total has gone under in 8 straight games for Detroit. The total has gone under in 4 out of 5. Orlando's. I'm tongue-tied here. The total has gone under in 4 out of Orlando's last 5 games. And you look at the total has also gone under in 4 out of the last 5 matchups between these two teams. 2 of 3 this year to the under. The most recent matchup was actually the outlier. That was the over with a 112 to 109 final score last Saturday. In that game, both teams shot about 50% from the field, and Detroit shot 50% from 3. Orlando in that game shot 45%. Now, I'm banking on some regression, some solid shooting regression from both these teams. As at home, the Magic play great team defense. Orlando's 3rd in points allowed at home. Overall, they're 10th best in three-point percentage allowed as well. This is a pretty solid defense. They swarm. They don't commit stupid fouls, and that's the kind of team I want when we're backing an under. Detroit's season average for threes is just 36.2%, and Orlando's is 35%. Two teams that are not really great at shooting the three. Why do I mention 3 points? Because that's how you really kill an over or an under is just two teams that can't miss from 3. These are two teams that already shot really well from 3. When we saw that in that last game, and it did barely tick over this line. But the regression, as I mentioned, is coming. If you look at those season averages, it's about like 15% lower. Detroit's defense also pretty solid. 7th in opponents' 3-point made per game. 3rd in opponents' threes attempted. Now, could that be also because Detroit's always trailing and the opponent doesn't need to shoot threes? Maybe, but they're pretty solid perimeter defense, and we just can't have Jalen Suggs or Gary Harris going nuclear. That's really what we are trying to avoid. I've seen them both do it before. Jalen Suggs went nuclear on me recently when I had the Jazz spread, and I was in pain. But Jalen Suggs, he's not gonna shoot like that today. Hopefully he's not listening. But also there are 2 bottom tier free throw shooting teams in this game. Detroit 18th, so less than average, and Orlando 28th in free throw shooting. These 2 teams are just pretty liable to stink it up from the field, stink it up from 3, and even miss some free throws. Those are all really great trends and evidence for the under. As I mentioned, the trends are already very strong with these 2 teams in the under, and it just kind of screams one of those lower scoring defensive battles. And I really do think the under is a solid play to make in that one. So let's do a quick mini recap of our picks today. We had the Sixers plus 8.5. We had Emmanuel Quickly over 27.5 points plus assists. We also had the Pistons and Magic under 218.5 points. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hopefully we could go 3-0 today. That would be a great way to close out the weekend. We're going to win some money today, and I hope you're along for the ride. This has been Logan, and I'll catch you on the next one.